If your content isn't converting into booked calls, you don't have a marketing strategy, you've just got noise. And in this episode, I'm breaking down the content conversion ladder. Okay, this is the exact framework I use with mortgage brokers to turn cold prospects into ready to talk clients. You'll learn how to move people from passive to active step by step and why social media alone is never enough. Grab a pen and paper, let's build a client converting machine. Now, when it comes to content conversion, there are two things that we need to be looking at, okay? The key thing we want as a broker is we want people to book a call, okay? So the book a call is obviously the number one thing we want anybody to be doing as a mortgage broker. We want people to be coming to us if they're ready, but not always are they ready. In fact, there are two types of prospects that we work with. We have what is known as a passive prospect, which is somebody that's not ready, and an active prospect, which is somebody who is ready. And only an active prospect will book a call. But that what we need to also create a place, and this is why we call it content conversion ladder, is we need to create a place, where people can be nurtured so they go from passive to active. And that means that we need them to either book a call or move down the ladder. And this is really important, okay? So I'm going to understand is that if you don't have this move down the ladder part in your business, then you could be losing lots of leads, because what you're effectively doing is relying heavily on people seeing you on social media, and then that's it, and then hoping they remember you. And chances are they're not going to. Chances are there's going to be somebody else that's going to come up and they're going to go, oh yeah, they look great, and they'll move to them. And so this is something we want to be really, really clear about. And so in today, I'm going to explain exactly what this ladder is. I'm going to talk about where all the social media platforms are, what that works. This is stuff I do with my clients, and it's hopefully going to give you a kind of an idea of where you can go next. It can be a bit overwhelming, so, just be warned. It can be pretty difficult, but that's fine. These are all baby steps. Layer it in as and when you need to do this. So let's talk about the ladder. What does that ladder actually look like? Well, the first thing on top of the ladder is content. So that is number one. Now, if we go further down the ladder, we have what is known as a lead magnet. Can't spell magnet, always struggle with that one. And then if we go further down again, we have email. And this effectively is all you need to have as a mortgage broker. That's it. And this side here, I'm going to write book a call, because this is our desired outcome, is book a call. We want them to book a call. So this on screen right now is the content conversion ladder. So how does this work in regards to mortgages? Well, content at the top is going to be our social platforms. So we might have IG, so Instagram, we could have Facebook, we could have LinkedIn, we could have YouTube. There could be infinite amounts of content platforms. These are all the places where you're making content and pumping videos out. Now, the reason we create content on these platforms is to attract people, and that's what we want. Now, if they are ready to book a call, if they like your content and they think that's a good idea, guess what? They're going to book a call with you. If and only if the content adds value and it's very clear that they can find your content and they can find the stuff from you. Now, the only way you do that is make sure that your Calendly links or any other supporting Calendly links, so anything Go High Level or anything else like that they are visible and easy to locate. But you want to make it as easy as them to book a call. But ideally, if they are an active prospect and they're ready to go, they are going to book a call for you. And that's great. And that's how you do your content. There's loads of stuff around what type of content to make and all this type of stuff. I understand that. Go and check those other videos out. But this is the first thing. Now, if they are not ready to book a call, what they will then do is they will then come down the ladder if and only if you've got an ideal lead magnet. Now, an ideal lead magnet is what you want there. Now, a lead magnet can be many, many things. There are multiple different types of lead magnets, but the idea of a lead magnet is to provide value to somebody offline, not very offline, but off the social platform. So you're no longer just serving them content. Now, the main goal for any lead magnet is to get somebody's email address. That's why we're doing it. We're actually wanting their data. We're wanting a way for us to communicate to them and get control of that communication. Now, why is that important? Well, because when you look at, say, social media platforms, where your algorithms, you're at the whim of the algorithm, is what I'm trying to say. So if you think about this from a social media perspective, if I wanted you to see all my content as a coach to you, if I post content on social media, they are deciding if they think it's relevant to you compared to everything else that you've seen and all of the stuff you like. and whether I get a spot in your feed today. Now, what we want is an email, because an email means that we are going to send it to their inbox and they're going to see it. Now, they might not choose to engage with it, but we get 100% control of our emails. We don't have 100% control of social media. And this is why when people say email marketing, don't need to have it, you absolutely need to have email marketing. But the only way you get an email is either by doing business with them, which point it's a bit too late. And yes, there is a whole ongoing client nurture thing you can do. That's not what I'm talking about today. What I'm talking about today is bringing prospects into your ecosystem who weren't aware of you. Well, with that, we need to have something to be able to bring them in. And so a lead magnet is going to be the number one thing you're going to have in order to draw them in and get their email address. Now, what type of lead magnets can you create? You probably hear me ask. Well, I probably hear you ask, sorry. So there are a number of different types of lead magnets. When it comes to lead magnets, the first one you have that you can think about is a webinar. The webinar is the first one. A webinar is effectively going to be a long video educating somebody around something to do with getting a mortgage potentially. This could normally be anywhere from about 30 minutes to an hour, and it would be shot in a live style format. So it doesn't mean that it is live. It doesn't have to be live, and I would advise it probably isn't. You would do it on a pre-recorded system, and then it would be hosted and people can come and attend it and watch it. And it is it's educating them, but they have to opt in. All of these things require an opt-in. They require an email address for them to get it. So a webinar could be one of them. The other one you could have with this is you could have a course. So you could have a mini course. So a small course could be something you could have, which is like a 5 steps to becoming the first time to buying your first home. And you have these small videos, courses that are online. Again, really, really good, but pretty hard to create, and also very few people can complete them unless they're really short. So a mini course is probably going to be better for that, but a course could be one of the ones you could do as well. You can host this on all of this stuff, by the way, on Go High Level is what I use. You can use other different variations, but that's what I do. I'll put a link in the show notes for this in the description for Go High Level, which is an affiliate link, full support, full transparency. You don't have to use it, obviously, but I get a small commission if you do, because if you want to build this type of thing out, Go High Level is where you build all of this out. Many of my clients are already on it, but if you want to watch this or listen to this and you're not on it and you want to use it, it would really be appreciative if you use the link. But you don't have to use it. You do whichever one you want. I don't care, but it would be cool. Now, the course, that is the second type of one you can create. The third one you can create is a quiz. So you could do a quiz, which would be like, what type of buyer are you, or what type of like what type of situation do you need, how much support do you need. Some form of quiz is actually another thing that's quite good. Now, you can use ChatGPT. To be honest, use ChatGPT for all of these things to build them out and then give you the framework and structure for it. But they are pretty cool, and quizzes can be quite useful, and they can be quite valuable to kick back some sort of report. Again, all doable on Go High Level and other platforms, but Go High Level does it all. And quizzes are cool as well. Another one you can do, which is probably the easiest one to do, the two easiest ones, and is the download. So that would be some sort of PDF download and email blast. I'm going to move my email thing there because I've made it a little bit too short. There you go. Email blast. So what is download? Well, first of all, a download is going to be a PDF guide, so some sort of guide around what you do. So that could normally be, and I think one of the best ones for this is you've got to think they've got to add value. So if it's just like generic tips, probably not going to be great. But something like, top 5 first-time buyer schemes available right now, that's a pretty good one. So any form of download is great. And email blast is effectively an email lead magnet. So over 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, you're going to get emails. Now, I have mine, actually. If you want to see one in action, you can even check mine out, which is the 30-day mortgage business boost. So I'll put it up on screen right now. I think you probably see it now, but it's 30-day mortgage business boost. And you can get that in the description if you want to see how that works and how one of these would look. And that is 30 emails that is sent to you every single day, small, actionable, like a little bit of education, a little bit of an actionable step, and it's 30 days of that. That is an email blast. That is exactly that in effect. So even if you're not that interested in mine, you might even want to see it just to see what it's like. But that is one of the ones. Now, the reason I like that specific email blast one, personally, is because the email blast is warming them up to getting emails from you, which is the next rung of the ladder. So, and by the way, this is the rung of the ladder I have with me. It's the same thing with you guys. So you'll all have the same thing. But I do have them all. So for myself, within my business, I have done webinars in the past, and I'm currently working on one at the moment. I've got a course, which is my mortgage marketing blueprint. I haven't got a quiz just because I can't be bothered. I will get around to it. I have got downloads on my websites, and I have got an email blast. So as you can see here, I have quite a lot of them. Now the goal for these, as you'd expect, is if they download the lead magnet and they found it valuable, they book a call, which is what we want them to do. If they do not find it, if they don't find it valuable, well, they won't use you. But if they're not quite ready and they're still not ready to go, well, we go down the line again and we go down the ladder. Now we're going now to email. And this is the final step of the conversion ladder. So email is, and people get crazy when they see this, but this is what I recommend we do, is we do an email sequence, which is 1 to 2 years. That is right. You heard me correctly, 1 to 2 years. And normally we'd want to be looking at a minimum of a weekly cadence, but you could do every 4 days, which will mean some weeks they get 2 and some weeks they get 1. But a weekly cadence is really, really good. 1 to 2 years is important. Now, what actually happens with this is you'll be emailing them 1 to 2 years, and at the end of the 1 to 2 years, which is how mine works, is it actually is like an infinity loop. So when you get to the end, it just loops back around again and again and again and again and again. Because truthfully, the email content that is emailed to them at the beginning of it, and all of this has been programmed and is created, all of it at the beginning, by the time it gets to the end, if you're doing 104 emails at that point, if you're doing 2 years, by the time you get to the end, you bring them back, it's actually very valuable to them again. 1 year is okay. 2 years, I think, is the best one. So 104 is probably the sweet spot. But that just loops and loops and loops. Now, the goal for this is, as you would probably expect, over those 1 to 2 years and indefinite, one of two things is going to happen. They're either going to book a call, which is what we want, or they're going to move down the ladder and unsubscribe, which means they're gone. And we want them to be gone, because if they come out the other end of the funnel and they're no longer an ideal client of ours, they don't want to work with us, then that's fine. Someone unsubscribing from your mailing list is fine. We want to look at our mailing list as a prospect buyers list, not a vanity metric number that we want. By the way, it's a really good way to think of social media too. We don't want thousands of followers. We want good people following us, and people who leave, that's great, because we don't want them, because we want people to go down this conversion ladder. So the idea of the email marketing is it's email marketing specific to somebody, to that ideal niche, for 1 to 2 years. And 1 to 2 years will catch these people then, hopefully, and because it's indefinite, it should catch them enough that when they do fall off their fixed rates, or when they do decide they're going to move, your emails are in their inbox and they've looked at them, deleted it, looked at them, deleted it. This is what I have, how mine works. This is how many of my brokers I've worked with, that we do this. It is a very tried and tested method within marketing in general. It doesn't need to be very complicated. And so if you think about it within your business and within you as a brokerage, the things you have to look at, and this is what I recommend people do, is you start with one platform of content, so one type of content, then you try and do one lead magnet, and then one email campaign. Get that email campaign to about 2 years long, and then you've created it, all pushing to a booking a link, which again you can do Calendly, or again you can do this on Go High Level. Go High Level does all of this, email automations. So these are all automated. Every part of this is automated. This 1 to 2 year cycle is an automated cycle. So once people download it, if you set it up, actually it's set up once and then it just keeps going and going and going. So our job then as brokers purely is to just keep creating content. That's all we need to do. We just have to keep putting out content on our platforms and keep pushing that, and then the rest of that conversion ladder will take care of itself. This is a funnel. This is what, whenever you hear people say, I need to build a funnel, this is what a funnel is. You're funneling people through. It's all it is. But it's so over-egged and over-complicated and what they call complexification. It's not that difficult. Content, lead magnet, email. And you need them to go down that. And they're either going down the ladder or booking across. So they're either booking into a call, so they're converting, or they are going down the ladder till they eventually leave and they either book the call or they go off and they're gone. They're not interested, which is absolutely fine. They're a dead lead. That's okay. But we need to, I would say as an advisor, where people go very wrong, and if this is you, then you want to address this, is if you are just pumping out content all the time on social media. So you're on Instagram and you're on Facebook and you're on LinkedIn and you're on YouTube, and these are all fine, and then you're getting them to book in a call. That's absolutely great. But but you are leaving a massive amount of business in the lap of the kind of social media gods. You're hoping that they're going to look favorably on your content and that they're going to say, you know what, you deserve this person's business. Instead, we take it into our own hands and we create this ladder. People will convert. And actually, in an ideal world, as I said, you probably need one lead magnet, one email, and then probably 2 social media platforms. One focusing on a local niche, one focusing on a national niche. You can check out, or I talk about all of those different things on loads of different videos, different types of niches. But that would be my personal ideal strategy I'd recommend most mortgage brokers do. In fact, this is what I do recommend. As time goes on, you can layer more in, and in an ideal world, you'd be on all the content platforms, you'd have all the lead magnets, you'd probably have multiple email marketing like 2-year sequences, depending on the niche they're in. So if they're a first-time buyer, if they're a buy-to-let, whatever it may be, you might have multiple different ones running, but you layer this stuff in. And if you do this, you've created a lead generating and lead nurturing machine. It really is as simple as that. In theory, obviously in practice, it's very difficult to do. Now, if you do find this useful, you do want to do it, like I've said to you before, Go High Level is the software you need for that. Go High Level is the software. It's hard to do, but you can absolutely learn loads about it on YouTube. But I would recommend that you get that software. I will link the description in there. It's about $97 a month. That's the plan you need. You don't need any bigger than that. $97 a month, and it will do everything you need for that. So figure it out. I'll link it in. Have a look at it, and yeah, good luck.